Happy Sunday to everybody. I'm going to try to move through a bunch of different questions this morning. And this one's kind of a combo. I think I'll put it together from Scott Frye. Mr. Frye asks, with statewide ranking ratings of public schools listed in Vermont State EdSite, Springfield is very near the bottom of key proficiencies. Why would we pay more for that? And then the follow-up was, these ratings had been trending down for several years while spending is at ludicrous speed. Maybe personnel changes are in order. So I think there's a couple things here. Like my having voter questions, I'm not. My goal is not be the pitch man for you must pass this budget. It's to give you information so that you can evaluate things. So I'll try to put up. It's a much longer kind of report of like, what are we doing well, and what are some indices that could give people evaluation about the outcomes of the district. But Scott's right. I mean, there's things that are not where we want them to be. I know that when I took on the superintendency, I remember looking at the fact that just before a year or two before I came on, Springfield was the 9th highest spending district per pupil in the state, and our scores in terms of standardized test scores. Not that I think that that's what you should measure everything by, but it's a measure that our scores were low. And so in my head, what I've been trying to, while not a stated board goal for me personally, what I've been thinking is the first step or the first couple of steps is the incremental point to get to is, all right, let's get at or above the average in terms of the scores. And then what can we do then simultaneously to get into the middle third of spending per pupil in the state? And those are the two, and we're not there yet. We did come down a bit. I know Mr. Frye was talking about, like, I think kind of the impression that was like we're spending up and we're coming down. I don't know how far down, but I'll look back, Scott, to look at the trends and be straight about what the trends have been. We're not where we need to be. I can acknowledge that part. And then in terms of spending, we actually went through a couple years. We went through a 3-year stretch where we were either reduced taxes or we're flat. I think there were 3 consecutive years where we did that. And we actually laid off a bunch of people as part of that work. So I don't know that it's fair to say that we just have been, spending like drunken sailors the whole time, and have had corresponding dips and stuff. But I would agree that we spend more than the average and our results are less than the average. And I think that is fair. And in terms of, maybe personnel changes are in order, I think we are constantly evaluating all personnel. And I assume this is mainly directed at me, but I don't know. But I would say in general, we're, from all the different tiers of the organization, we're constantly in a process of doing evaluations of folks. And that includes the school board evaluating me. And I think it's fair to have a conversation about, well, okay, you're the lead of this organization and it spends more than the average, and and the outcomes are less than the average in this particular measure. That's fair. And part of the school board's job is to, one of its primary jobs, basically is to evaluate me and to oversee me. So you've got, their core jobs are to set policy, set a vision and mission, which they've done recently. They've reset that based on a lot of community input. Develop policies that inform that work, and then to oversee their chief employee, me, and that's my job to oversee everybody else. And so, yeah, if things aren't, if it's not as successful or as cost efficient as it should be, and you come to that evaluation, which seems reasonable, then people should be asking those types of questions. So, all right, on to the next question.